guys, welcome to Conversations with Cassie Paul. We are here to provoke your expressions. Please be sure to share your thoughts on the comment section. Today, Renale Aobakwe Diteko, she's a writer, she's a dancer, she is all things creative. Please tell us about your background. Please, girl, tell us Huruman.
Okay. This student right here is Aobakwe Jasmine L, and I'm a creative, as she's already said. I'm a writer, content writer slash journalist, singer, or worshiper. I prefer to use worshiper. And I'm also dabbling and learning how to draw, sketching, and painting, and all of that.
Okay,
and I have also been a dancer at one point in time, and also a poet.
They say I have two left feet to make a run. Girl, you have to teach me how to dance.
I will. I will.
Yeah, okay. You're talking about being like a creative person. I just want you to, and a worshiper. And I understand that worship is not necessarily singing. So please tell me what it means to be a creative person and a worshiper. Like, how do you merge those? Like everything that you do. Yeah.
Well, at first I only sang at church, and I felt like I was not comfortable with taking my gift outside of the church building.
Yeah.
Because I was under the misconception that for me to be worshiping God and to be doing a service to God, it had to be in church, until I realized that, but worship is not just limited to singing in front of a mic. Worship is everything that I do. And then from that understanding, I got to understand what even with my poetry, I can worship God.
Yeah.
And that's when I started writing poetry about God, about his faithfulness, about his mercies, about his goodness, about everything that he is. And then I took it a step further to now join a dance group that was made up of Christians. And then that was where I was like, okay, but you know what, worship, creativity, I can actually merge these and make sure that in everything that I do that is creative, I can be focusing on God and I can be leading people to God. And that's where now I got the idea, or I got the conviction to write my book, which is titled Whisper, and is basically an outreach for people who've been through what I've been through, the traumas that I've faced, to let them know that, you know what, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that light is Jesus Christ. And now I took my creativity and my writing and my God, and I merged them into one, and now I'm trying to lead people towards the same God that I have come to.
That is so beautiful. My conviction is worship is a lifestyle. Please tell us what you think worship is. What is your personal conviction? Talking about your book, we have talked about this before, but not in depth. Please tell me about when you started writing it and what it means to you. Probably because you say it's part of like your experience in there, it's bio-fictional. You can start from there.
Yes. Yes, it is bio-fictional in that it's biography and fiction merged into two. At the time, I was not able to just stand up in front of people and be like, okay, I've been raped.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to actually admit that to myself. And then I reached a point where I was like, but this is not my secret to keep. It's not my burden to carry, and it's not my shame to have drowning me for the rest of my life. So, and then I started writing the book in 2016, was it? And at first it was just an outlet for me to be able to take everything inside onto the outside, until I got to a point where I was like, but if I want to be that pen in the hand of God, writing a love letter to the world, then that is exactly what I'm going to make my book about, to try to reach to people out there. Because I noticed at the time, I was silently, while I was growing up, I was silently just watching my friends and observing my friends, and I realized, without them even having to tell me, that the pain that was inside of me was inside of them too. My pain ministered to their pain. And in every group of 5 friends, me included, like 4 of us had been through that. And we couldn't talk about it. We couldn't heal. We couldn't get past it. We were always just masking it with, no, I'm fine. We were masking it with, I don't need a man. We were masking it with anger. And we just couldn't let that hurt out. And when I got to meet God for myself, I got to know what healing was, and I was like, but I have to now give and bring that same healing that I have found in God to everybody else.
You know, like this, I'm already drawn into this, and I want you to tell me what is in whisper. What is whisper about? Like, I understand that it means so much to you. It's not just a book that I'm gonna buy and just read and then I like forget about it. I'm gonna take something out of it, and I want the people at home to understand what whisper is, because I know what whisper is about. Because I know what it doesn't arrive in Botswana, right?
Yes,
they can get it online, and we'll talk about that. So I want somebody who wants to understand what whisper is about, to already get like a glimpse of what it is about. So yeah, tell me about it.
So the description of whisper is online. The description that I made it is that it's an outreach imprint. But on a more personal note, it is my own testimony, because I was raped as a child and I was like young, and I was raped again when I was young, and those two experiences literally just made me this person who is so cut off from every person and cut off from emotions and just living in my own world, guarded. I grew up so guarded, and I wasn't into interactions and making connections and relationships and all of that. And then I was fine, I was like, I'm fine. I wasn't showing any symptoms, I would say, of being a rape victim. I was just closed off until I was 17. Again, I got raped that time, and now that one really just drove me over the edge. It sent me off, and it just made me this person who was, I would say, wild. I was wild, because that was like a year before I went to UB. Now when I got to UB, that plus the play and the pain and the hurt and the anger and the shame and everything just merged, and I just became another human being, totally another human being. But then I met God in 2014, which was like a year or two after I started in uni, and that's when I had to start confronting so many of these things that I had been burying, because I have this thing where I don't deal with emotional pain. I just bury it. I'm like, you know what, I don't want to face this right now, so I'm just gonna sweep it under the carpet. I'll see it whenever I see it. And I had to start confronting things. And even now, it's 2021 now, but even now there's still times where I'm having breakdowns, and I have to confront some of the things that have followed me into my adult life now. And so when I wrote the book, other than it being for myself, it was for every other woman out there that, you know what, you're not alone. Because we have this mindset that, you know what, I'm alone, nobody's going to understand. Or even if they do understand, even if they do understand, they're going to label me. And for me, that was the biggest thing. I didn't want to be labeled. I didn't want anybody to be looking at me and going, ooh, it's that girl. Even now, after I did the interview, before I did it, actually, I was like, ooh, I don't want people looking at me as if I'm about to break or something, because I've always had this facade of I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm strong, nothing can break me. I got the Lord. Like black people say, we got Jesus, we don't need therapy. Exactly. And after I did the interview, I met somebody who told me about that specific part of my traumas, the traumas that I'm still dealing with. And I was like, so that's what you got from that? Like, I went on national air, and I made myself vulnerable. I admitted all my weaknesses and all my troubles and everything that I've been pretending that I'm handling all this time. And what you got wasn't the part where I was able to face my struggles, to face my demons head on. What you got was the fact that she's having demons that she's battling with every day. So like having that conversation, it really kind of opened a door for me, or a light bulb went on, because before then I was like, I don't want people to start judging me and start thinking I'm this. And then I actually met a person who judged me according to what they exactly heard. What you exactly that. And I was like, but I didn't die. Like that happened, but I didn't die. I put myself out there and I didn't die. So now it actually has propelled me more to be like, no, you know what, there are so many young girls, even older women, some of our grandparents and our mothers are dying here. They're struggling, they're drowning in this, because they cannot just play. The thing is, I was raped by a cousin when I was young, and I have not, even now I haven't even for my family, because how do I say to them,
Where do you start?
You know? And I've seen that the reason why so many of our mothers are angry right now, angry black women, is because of the stuff that they can't talk about, the stuff that they keep hidden inside of them. So in line with everything that you're doing right now, trying to get people to talk, to stir up emotions and people, that's what I'm trying to do right now, not just with my book but just with my life. I want to make people feel safe and to know that they actually can talk about this, that they actually can heal from this, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and that they don't have to be alone in this. So I feel like in me letting myself be vulnerable, and in me letting myself be naked in front of people, I'm trying to show people that, you know what, it's fine to be naked. It's fine to let people know that you're weak.
It's actually liberating.
Yeah, it's liberating. There is so much liberty to just feel like this weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. I can breathe, I can heal, I can be happy, and I can talk about it without feeling like I'm about to die.
Okay, to also wrap this up, I have been attacked last year, and I never got to report the whole incident because I felt like the government is failing us, like so I want to understand, because I know some of my friends who got raped, and some of the girls that I used to mentor long back, I had somebody who got raped actually, and they were never helped. So I want to understand, did you ever report this?
No, I didn't.
And then how do you feel? Do you think Mapodisi Baira so much to help?
Honestly, there are times where I feel like, you know what, give up because I should have, but then I'm like, but what if would that have helped anyway? Because I see so many of my friends, I think maybe I didn't because of the experiences of my friends. One of my friends told me that it happened to her when she was young, and then she actually reported the person, and in court she was there, she was young, and then the lawyer who was for the other guy was just bombarding her with all these questions and making her look like she doesn't know what she's saying. And then the guy actually won the case, and from then, like, she told me Gilly about 16, and from then I was like, I never want to go through that. I never want to be in court and have to tell people everything that happened, and then after that have them tell me, no, you're lying. And then some of my friends, they would actually tell their parents, the mothers were especially if the perpetrator was like the boyfriend or the father or something, the uncle related to the mother, and then they have to hear their own parents tell them what why are clean. So I think with me, I've never wanted to tell anybody anything, because there was always that fear of being victim shamed. Because when it happened the third time, I was with my boyfriend and I got drunk, and he decided, okay, let me have my way. So now I never even thought of reporting that, because the first question that I knew I was gonna get asked is, okay, so and that happens to so many of us. We're always victim shamed at the end of the day. As if how I parents so motelle how when I Lord as if how nobody's going to do anything to you. Why were you leading him on? As if Basadi Bagol Baba 9 years old aren't going through that. As if Bana Baba 3 months old aren't going through that, So the general fear around being able to talk about it is always one that, what parts did you have to play in this, as if you asked for it. And then also just generally, I feel like both the justice system and the police are letting us down, because this is something that has been